What's up, y'all? Welcome to a new year, and welcome to the very first episode of the Tricology News Talk. As the first regular schedule episode will premiere this week, but this is a new episode of the new year of the Dynamite Review Show. And let me tell you something: that this is a new year, new era, and new AEW. But I can't talk about this alone because I got to bring my partner in crime that has been with me since last year, and we're gonna be doing some big things and towards 2023. So, Leland, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Yo, what is up, everybody? Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you had a great time with your family. Great holiday. Glad to be back. First episode of the new year, January 5th. We here. We ready to talk about some wrestling, ready to talk about some AEW wrestling. And boy, did AEW just get a level up? I mean, this whole new everything, whole new swag, whole new look, whole new vibe. A lot to talk about with last night AEW. But it's so funny because look, Trico, when I had left for the holidays and I missed the last week's episode of Dynamite, but it recorded on my DVR. So I watched the New Year's Bash before I watched the new episode of AEW. And man, it's like night and day. I feel like I flicked the station and was watching something else. That's how different it felt. Other than having the same theme song, it has a whole new intro, whole new set design, whole new look, whole new atmosphere, more of a professional looking presentation. There's a couple of things that I noticed that I want to break down as we go to it. But what did you think about it? What was your first impression of the new era for AEW?
Let me tell you something. When AEW first started, they started with the background with the whole rainbow paint and stuff. But this is totally new. They go with the red and blue virtual design. But a lot of people have been talking on social media saying, "Oh, it's too similar to what SmackDown Live used to be back in 2016." I'm like, y'all need to calm down. Y'all need to calm down with that. We don't need to talk about no brand stuff and similarities. Like, this is a new AEW design. I love the stage of it. They took away the tunnels. We don't need that anyways.
Now
It
they
looks a
took out
whole
the
lot better.
tunnels. They took out the tunnels, but the heels and the babyface still come out left and right. So
Yeah, they still.
that's still true. They kept that.
Yeah, they still kept that concept. That was fine. But the whole stage and everything, like, oh my god, and the whole arena, it's like, are we at stadium? Are we at the Seahawks arena? In case y'all didn't know, last night's Dynamite was in Seattle. And oh boy, Seattle has become another city filled with wrestling fans.
True, true. And WWE was there not too long ago. But this crowd last night, boy, were they hyped. They were so ready. The past like 3 or 4 episodes of Dynamite, the crowds have just been amazing. Like the reception that these guys are getting for doing these moves, they have just been so over for they're hitting a hot streak. I don't know how that reflects in the ratings, but I can tell you this much: the in-person crowds are definitely getting their money's worth because they have been very excited these last couple of weeks. Real quick, Trico, some of the things that I noticed off the bat, right? So of course you got the new stage, you have the new lights. I would say that this is more of a red, white, and blue color scheme than just the typical red and blue, even though red and blue is the primaries there. But I think if you look close, it's more of a red, white, and blue kind of color scheme. Now, to talk about what everybody's talking about, it does kind of look WWE-ish at times. It does look like a Raw and SmackDown. Those colors have been kind of synonymous with WWE. So it's interesting that they're going with red and blue. But I know TBS wants to give this more of a polished look, more of a sports look, and now it looks more like an American wrestling show and not like the grungy kind of thing, But it definitely helps Dynamite stick out. Now, I want to see what they do with Rampage and if colors change and things move, and will it have its own kind of vibe, or will they stick with like the red and white and the red, white, and blue? But one of the things I noticed, was. Now, when a wrestler comes out, they have more time in the ring with their music playing before just abruptly cut off. There was times where Ricky Starks, right when he went for his like move, they cut the music off. Now it seems like they're giving these guys more time with their music, and that is more of a professional feel. It is something that we've seen other companies do, but it makes them feel more like stars for sure, because now we have that time with the music, and it's not just abruptly cut off before a big pose or a big move or a big, last pop they can get from the crowd. So that was one of the small details I noticed.
Yeah, I did have some notes here. Like, there was some few technical difficulties with the mics and all that stuff, but don't worry, that's just a one-time thing. They can fix that. And also with John Moxley joining the F-bomb, but like, who's gonna tell him? He's John Moxley. Like, come on, who's gonna tell him?
We had a couple of F-bombs recently.
I mean, it's TBS. It's not like it's WWE. It's not like it's PG. Okay,
exactly.
It's TV-14. Y'all need to calm down. But yeah, we are in Seattle. There are two wrestlers they're in their hometown tonight, and we'll get to them in a second. But we got a first timer that start the show with Absolute Ricky Starks versus I can't call him the Ocho because he's not the ROH champion no more. Let's just go with the Wizard, as y'all remember if you saw when he did
he's
the fireball.
Always going to be the Ocho, baby.
Now you can't call him the Ocho no more because he started doing fireballs. Now we got to call him the Wizard again. We got to call him the Wizard.
The Wizard. He said, because I'm a wizard.
and I'll explain why. Of course, you probably saw it. Why I got to call him the Wizard again.
Yep.
Why I got to call him? I mean, the crowd was absolutely behind Ricky Starks. And when that day comes, when Ricky Starks has his rematch with MJF, somewhere down the line, maybe like at the end of 2023 or maybe at the beginning of 2024, Ricky Starks will be the man to lead AEW as his next world champion. But that's a year down the line. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah,
Ricky Starks had a little video to play right before he came out. The crowd was definitely happy to see Judas. In the presentation, this is like when we first was able to see like the new presentation. The fireworks that went off at the start of the show was a lot bigger, a lot louder. It was more bang for the buck. They have these trifecta fire shooters now. So it was a couple of new little things there, but yeah, the set does look incredible. It does look more impressive. It doesn't look as like you can't go back to the tunnels. The tunnels is going to be something we see on the video game now and think of an older time of AEW, but this new look looks like we're headed in the right direction and they're headed for bigger and better things.
Yeah, I love the pyro intro. It definitely looks a lot better too. But at the end of the match, Ricky Starks pick up the win after a spear. So the Jericho losing streak is continue. I did say that before that the losing streak is going to continue on with Jericho. It's just a matter of when it's gonna pay off to the rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society. And speaking
I thought Ricky Starks was going to lose when he got hit in the mouth with Floyd and they was counting him down. I thought it was a wrap right there.
Nah, you can't let this man lose. I'm sorry. Listen, Jericho is already started and is all right. We cannot have Ricky Starks lose. I'm sorry. He got to be a good main event player after coming off with a huge matchup that he had with MJF. No, we can't have this man lose. No.
I feel you.
But
yeah, he is hot right now for sure.
Yeah, but after the match, the rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society hit the ring to attack Starks when Axel Andretti, the rookie that beat Jericho, he came to the ring with a chair to clean house. And if you saw when the camera zoom on his face, you saw it in I think it's his right eye when he has that red spot. You could tell that's when he hit that fireball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Ty Mello and Anna Jay took the chair away from Andretti and hit a low blow. as the rest of the JSS put the boots to him, and then Bernard and Parker set up a table at ringside, and Hager powerbomb starts off the apron through it. So this tells me that the JAS are in the rivalry with not only Ricky Starks, but Axe and Andretti. Now the question is Starks and Andretti going to get some help against the Jericho Appreciation Society, or we're just going to see like two members of the Jericho Appreciation Society going against Ricky Starks and Axe and Andretti when that tag team match comes along?
Gotcha. Now, I think that's what they're doing. I mean, first off, okay, look, say what you want about Tony Khan, but he got Action Andretti over, and we ain't know who the hell he was. You feel me? We ain't know who the hell he was before that day, and look what we got now. We got Action Andretti coming out, getting a super babyface pop, getting a super babyface pop coming out, and we don't know who the hell he is. He only had 2 matches. But I think, I'm just watching this happen. And how super babyface is he? I think he's the most like blue chip babyface AEW has had. He's the most like close to like a WWE type superstar look that AEW has had. So these guys are moving into more of a sports entertainer, but also still mixed in with our professional wrestling. So I can see where the shift, if last year started with 100% professional wrestling and very little story like sports entertainment, now I think we're moving into a 60-40 type thing where it's 60% professional wrestling, 40% kind of, because there's more in this episode that support the sports entertainment part that's coming out. And I've got to say, it was good the way they did it. So we'll keep talking about the matches as we go.
Oh yeah, the sky is limit for Action Andretti. But afterwards, Tony Schiavone welcomed us back from the break and introduced Heyman Adam Page to the ring. Schiavone mentions Jon Moxley's challenge to Page next week at the Forum in LA. As Page said, as of today, he is not medically cleared to compete. Page looked down at the doctor, said if he doesn't get into a fight this week, next week, he will be cleared to knock Moxley's dick in the dirt. And I was like, didn't I hear this from a movie? Isn't this from a movie?
I've heard it from a couple of places.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he got some black in him. I'm like, oh my God. But that promptly brought Moxley out, who surprised Page, even though they're tonight. He's sick of the sympathy cards and virtuals. As the crowd chanted, they couldn't hear with the mic not working. Like I mentioned before, there was some mic technical difficulties, and Moxley dropped a couple of F-bombs, said, "Go Seattle," and got the crowd back on track like a pro. Moxley mentions Page being mad at him for knocking him out, which Page took the mic and said, he's not mad about that. It's how Moxley called him out, making him a joke. Page said Moxley was threatened. He has 2 in the chamber with Moxley's name on them, and he will take his shot at the Forum. Moxley said Page punk ass doesn't belong in a ring with him, and next week he'll make sure that Page doesn't get back up. This was an excellent face-off. Now, the wrestling fan in me thinks that next week's match should have been a lights out match.
Okay, I see that. I can see how you can come to that. That mean AEW has no responsibility to anything that happens to Adam Page, and that still works on many levels if he really is clear to wrestle at this time, but they're just trying to build it up still.
Man, I cannot wait for next week. And but we got a video package hyping up for tonight's main event. And Joe said Darby will pay the price in Joe's kingdom, as he's the self-proclaimed king of television. But before we get to the TNT Championship in the main event, we got a World Tag Team title match with the Acclaim versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. I was like, please don't let Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal win the title tonight. Like, nothing against them, but the Acclaim does not need to win the lose the titles to them. I'm sorry. Like, they need to lose to a better team. Like a team that's like really put in the work, and like I'll go so far as saying even FTR or freaking other tag teams like the House of Black, one of those teams. You know what I'm saying? But but even though this was a perfectly fine tag team match, they definitely put in the work here, especially with Jeff Jarrett based on how old he is, but he definitely put in the work tonight. But I hate the false finish in that match. But
actually, it got me hyped because honestly, I was sitting there with my jaw drop like, yo, don't tell me. Because remember, everything I've been saying about Jeff Jarrett is I don't want to see him fight other main wrestlers. I just wanted to see him fight Sting. So when I seen that finish, I'm like, nah, don't tell me that. And then as soon as Aubrey came, I'm like, thank you. Because I did not want to have to talk about a Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal title reign. So I like the false finish on that one.
I'll say this. The one day I like about this whole entire match was the pre-match rap from Caster. That was like the favorite thing for this whole thing.
From this whole thing. Yeah, that rap was dope. And also the new graphics on the new screens looked really good too. How over is this guy? Is this damn team? This team is so over, bro. It's crazy how over they are.
Yeah. So Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal thought they won the titles, but Bowens had his foot on the ropes, and like you said, Aubrey Edwards had to change the rules. I'm like, he had his foot on the ropes, restart the match, and before you know it, the Acclaim retained the titles. But this Friday coming up at Battle of the Belts, we will have a rematch, but this time, no holds barred. No.
That's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be fun.
Yep. I hope that match is twice as better than we had last night. But speaking of tag team matches, Tony Schiavone would interview the AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker about their match at the Forum next week against Saraya. Baker and Hager called themselves AEW Originals, which they are, and Saraya doesn't get it. They worked their way up to the top, while Saraya desperately being friends with Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm can make her decision on who will be your partner. Baker called Hager the Killer and herself the Pillar. And this is a perfect tag team to call them if they want to be like the Killer and the Pillar. That sounds very similar. But there was one part in that interview when Baker said, I'm the boss, and she winked. So that tells me. So, and we'll get to Saraya's interview in a second. But that little hit over there tells me that Mercedes Morado could be coming next week. And I heard a report saying that Mercedes Morado could be all elite. But we're gonna wait next week to see what happens. But you remember,
look, they're at. Go ahead.
You remember when Darby Allin had that interview and he said he'll fight anyone, even if you are the best in the world. And that gave us a hint that CM Punk would return, and he returned.
Yep. Now, on top of that, next week they're in LA, the Forum. What celebrities is in LA a lot? Maybe Snoop Dogg. Who's cousins with Snoop Dogg? I'm just saying, a lot is happening. That's kind of like home turf for her in a way. So it's a lot of things that's pointing to it. We knew it couldn't be yesterday because obviously now we know that she was in New Japan. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's good. I mean, but we also got something else happening in an episode later that kind of dispels that. So we will see.
Yeah. And speaking of hometowners, Jungle Boy Jack Perry was backstage, said he never thought he had someone to watch his back again after everything that he has been through this year. But Perry challenged Big Bill and Lee Moriarty to a tag team match with Hook and himself in Perry's hometown the next week. And they called themselves Jungle Boy and Hook. They called themselves Jungle Hook.
Jungle Hook. I dig it.
I'm like, that's not bad. Very funny, but not bad. But like I said, speaking of hometimers, last night, Bryan Danielson was in his home turf since 2015. It's been that long. So yeah, massive ovation for the hometown boy, as the crowd was definitely on his side the whole time. And what can I say? He beat Tony Nese. We don't need to go through this match, because the post match is what really got everyone intrigued. So after the match, Danielson said, "It's great to be home," and he's feeling froggy, ready for another fight. He called out MJF, who walked to the stage, and again called him brain damage, Brian, and a mark, declining the challenge. MJF is a special attraction who doesn't wrestle because he needs to. If Lance Storm and Dean Malenko could have a child, he'll be more charismatic than Danielson. Now, Lance Storm respond back on social media. He said, "If I were to make a child with Dean Malenko, he'll be the best child in the world." Now, if I would have made a if I would have made a child with the Miz, he will be MJF.
Wow.
I was like, "Oh, damn."
Wow.
I was like, damn.
That's a good one.
Oh my God. So continue on. MJF will be surprised if Danielson's mother in 1981 opted for a goat instead of a human suitor. Daniel said, "The boys in the back talk about how many sitters MJF's mother has had. Even folks in the crowd said they have been as well." Now we go into the Your Mama jokes. Wow. I remember that show back at MTV. Oh my God. Where's MVT? Where's MVT when you need them?
This is right. Your mama. Favorite part about that show, he'd be like, "You got a chance to win cash money." But
oh my God. This whole segment was completely funny. Oh, okay, let me continue. MJF said the title around his waist is what makes him the best in the world, and runs down the march who has never wrestled. MJF said guys in the business like Disco Inferno, Eric Bischoff, and his favorite, Jim Cornette, has even called him the best in the world. Danielson said it's time for him to shut up and fight. He hates MJF, who tried to score it away, and Shivani was pleased to give him a hook. MJF said if he wants the title shot, Danielson needs to become the #1 contender, and said if Danielson wrestled every week now until February 8th, he will get an AEW title shot at Revolution in March. And then said, Danielson said, "Who the hell you think you are? Trying to tell me I need to wrestle? Like, boy, shut your mouth. I'll wrestle anytime I want and get a shot when he earns it." And MJF snapped, went straight Ric Flair and said, Tony Khan neither the MVPs run this company. He does. Then Danielson said, "Fine, I'll agree to your terms. Only if I get to pick the stipulation for the match at Revolution." MJF say, "Fine." So he'll cheat in front of the ref. And Danielson said, it will be a 1 hour Iron Man match. Danielson will run through everyone MJF will put in front of him, and he will expose MJF in the Iron Man match. Now, listen, we only had one Iron Man so far in AEW, and that was with Kenny Omega and Pac, but that was 30 minutes. This will be the first time that we will get a 1 hour Iron Man match. Now, this is definitely will be a test for MJF in his reign as world champion. And if he can get past Danielson in this Iron Man match, the sky will be the limit for MJF.
Will he be cheating though? That's what we always gotta ask. You know, it's gonna be a fair fight or an MJF fight.
I mean, if you seen a couple of Iron Man matches, like there's been a lot of people who gone the cheap way out to try to get to gain some points. To gain some points.
You know what? Also, man, I think it's really interesting they're putting MJF against Danielson. You know, that's a real interesting kind of pairing. Also, Ethan Page last week looked really good in the ring, man. This dude was coming into his own. He's starting to look like a real legit heel. He, you know, got a good look to him. He has, you know, some charisma, some charm. You know how to work a crowd. But yeah, I want to throw that out there real quick. But I think it's really interesting that they're pairing up Danielson with MJF. You know, I think it's kind of interesting because they styles are so different. We got Danielson saying the best of the world, MJF that's coming out, you know, saying he's the best right now because he has the belt, you know, and you really just want to see because at first they had Danielson being kind of a heel, but now he's kind of automatically a babyface in a way. So I think it's interesting what they're doing with these two.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this Iron Man match. But this begs the question: at Revolution, we know the match itself is going to be 1 hour plus the entrances for both men. That will be another 20 minutes. I'm like, I hope the whole pay-per-view is not a 5 hour or 8 hour show. Because if it's so, fans, you're gonna need a lot of caffeine and some popcorn to keep you guys awake. Depends on how many matches they're gonna put on the card for Revolution.
Facts. I mean, sometimes shows can go a little long, no matter how much you like the brand or like the wrestling. It's like I can only take so much at one time. So I definitely understand that.
Yep, it's gonna be crazy from now to March. But we got a video package shown for what should be the main event for this upcoming Battle of the Belts with Orange Cassidy defending the All Atlantic Championship against Kid Sabian. And then after the video package, we got whose house? Swerve Strickland against AR Fox, which was a pretty good, fantastic match that the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome, man. Holy shit," the whole time. It's surprised that no one, especially who was familiar with the history of Killshot and Dante Fox here.
Yeah, I mean, I just watched their some of their matches on Lucha Underground just before kind of they announced this and everything. So it was cool to kind of see them putting it together. I mean, these guys have great chemistry in the ring, and AR Fox is very innovative. I mean, just as a competitor, he's very innovative. I would really like to see him versus like Lee Moriarty and things like that. I think that'd be an interesting pair up, or even him and like Daniel Garcia, you know, with a couple of matches. So I think it was definitely a hell of a match. But Swerve's new look, Swerve's new presence, Swerve's new song, Swerve's new henchman, Swerve's new tattoo face henchman guy that don't have a name. I like it. The crowd seemed to like it too. They had Swerve signs. You know, Swerve is coming into his own for sure. And I definitely like the new gimmick and like the new look of it. The mogul, was it mogul affiliates? I'm digging it. I do think on that sound system, we needed more bass in his song. I needed to really feel the bass come through in his song, and I don't think I really got that too much on that one. So, but that could just be the arena. But I really like what they're doing with this one, and I want to see where it goes. I'm down. I love a good heel faction.
Like, I know who Parker Boudreaux is, but the other guy, what is his name? We need to know his name. Like Jesus Christ. Like even Taz mentioned it in commentary, says the paint face man henchman. That could be like a new tag team for them. That could be a new tag team for them.
And Parker, I think Parker, everyone kept saying he was like the new Brock Lesnar just because he kind of looked like him a little bit. But I think TK actually found a way to kind of bring out who Parker really is. Like I think he is this kind of like, I like clean, looking like kind of an average kind of like 22, 23-year-old, They want to look clean and be dope. And I don't think he wanted to be really, compared to Brock Lesnar just because he looks like him a little bit. But I think TK kind of gave him something that he can kind of start growing his own self and be into. So we'll see where it goes. And I don't know who the hell the tattoo guy is, but we'll wait. We'll find out eventually.
Yeah. But moving on. Backstage Renee Paquette with Saraya, Tony Storm, and Ricardo Shia. Saraya said she's not surprised, but what Baker and Hayter have been saying. Saraya said she's happy they have been training every week about who her partner be. Saraya said her partner will be one of the best on AEW roster, Tony Storm. Shida looked dejected and annoyed as Saraya and Storm just annoyed her, while Paquette sort of just shrugged her shoulders as Saraya did not say pitch Tony Storm. Now, here's the thing. And I know people are saying, like, oh, this could be a potential heel turn for Ricardo Shia. I'm like, y'all need to stop. Calm down. We don't know that yet. Because we don't know if Shida gonna be turned heel yet. We don't know yet. So, but I do believe that Tony Storm could be taken out next week somehow. I don't know. And then that's when we'll get the surprise of Mercedes Marno. Everybody's saying, oh, now that Saraya picked Tony Storm, like, oh, then now the mystery with Mercedes Marno being the mystery trying to probably put the rest. I'm like, hold up, calm down. We don't know that yet. Okay.
Right.
Tony Khan is the master of bringing in surprises. Okay. Just chill. Let's wait till next week and see what it is. But I am giving you guys hints of what's been going on with this interview and the other interview with Baker and Hayter said earlier that night. So, what do you think, bro?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I picked up on the boss comment as well, but then they kind of throw me a swerve on this one. So I mean, I think that means Mercedes is officially a part of AEW because I feel like if they would have just left a hint, then it'd have been like, okay, yeah, she coming. But I think them trying to purposely swerve us this way, like, oh, then she definitely coming. So maybe they're gonna have, they gotta get in a fight with Tony and messes her up, and then Mercedes comes out. Oh, that's gonna be such a good moment at the Forum, bro. Like that's gonna be crazy. I think they're gonna do it, man. How much do you think that's gonna change the women's division in AEW?
Oh, we are definitely giving a women's evolution 2.0.
Facts. I mean, you see what they're doing now because they can't. I don't think they have enough time in there to put women matches on, but now the women are having these little moments in between the matches to cut promos. So I mean, it's more is we do get to see them more now, compared to just the one match. So I like the direction they're going. The women division does feel like it's growing, And if Mercedes come, then yeah, that's going to be kind of a big one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mercedes is definitely the type of woman that likes to make history and put like people on notice. So with her making her debut in New Japan, she is gonna wrestle Kairi Sane on February 18th. So be on the lookout for that. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So 2023 is off to a good start. So I can't believe I'm talking about this one. FTR came out to the ring to lay to rest. Well, it's not FTR, it's freaking the Guns. Yeah, they even put out on the big screen saying FTRIP, May 27, 2020 to December 21st, 2022. So if y'all didn't, in case y'all don't know what that last date was, that was with when they faced the freaking why I forget their name, the Briscoes. Yeah, when they faced the Briscoes. So it's crazy. So we are definitely getting that FTR versus the Guns rivalry soon. How soon? I don't know. Austin Gunn said this is to pay tribute to FTR's legacy. Colton said they had held all tag team titles except AEW, and they are 10 stars in their hearts. Tony Schiavone popped Taz when he told Austin Gunn to email his own words written instead of cutting a promo. The Guns destroyed their 10-year legacy in 10 minutes. FTR's music hit, but the Guns faked out the crowd as FTR was in Japan. So in case y'all didn't know, FTR was in Wrestle Kingdom. There was the defending the IWGP tag team titles. So yeah, the Guns are now the new living legends, and Top Gun out.
Yeah, Austin Gunn, I think is going to be the new guy to kind of watch, because Austin is going to be. He has the excitement, he has the charisma, he has everything that we need. I think good one to look out for.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of when we're going to get this tag team match. Like, what it is building up to, and they building up to see who will be top of the tag team rankings of who's going to be next to face the Acclaim. Like, what we're going to get out of this is the question.
Yeah, I think this is just going to keep FCR going until they get back. But I think also I wanted to say this was the part that I was talking about where I'm seeing more sports entertainment come in, because I feel like this is the first time they did kind of a segment this way and went all out with the graphic and the music and all this type of stuff. Also, I like the Guns music, their theme song when it come out. I think it's kind of dope. But no, Austin Gunn is definitely a future star. You guys listen to me. He's going to be such a good heel. But he has the charisma, he has the look, the attitude. But Austin Gunn, keep your eye out on him. Not saying Colton doesn't have it as well, but you can tell Austin just takes to it very naturally. So that is going to be something to look forward to. I think that's what they do in this, because FCR was out and they want to keep hyping you up for when they get their hands on the Guns. That's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. So from one rivalry to another, we got a recap showing the best of 7 series with the Elite and the Death Triangle, with the 7th and final match taking place next week in a ladder match. We even got the NBC on NBC music going on. And it's a very yeah, and it's very appropriate that that next week is going to be in LA. So this brings me back. This definitely brings
it's kind of cool, ain't it? It's got this big sports feel, like best of 6, la 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 la, like this whole sports field going on with it. I was like, look at them. Also, the match last week, remember I watched last week's episode right before I watched this one. That last match was fire. So good. I can watch these guys wrestle all the time. Just put them on my TV every week and I'll probably pop up to see who wins. But yeah, this and the ladder match at the end, I'm definitely looking forward to a ladder match.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And moving on, we got your standard tag team matchup with the TBS champion Jade Cargill and Red Velvet versus Sky Blue and Kiera Hogan. So this whole match was most of it took place during the commercial, and Jade Cargill and Red Velvet defeated Sky Blue and Kiera Hogan. and Jay Cargill is now 47-0. So and they're definitely continuing the and further the story of Red Velvet possibly breaking off from Jade.
Yeah, I think this is all leading. That's going to be an exciting breakdown. Exciting. I'm looking forward to see how much Rampage changed. So I'm actually going to watch Rampage this week because I want to see if there's any changes that popped up with it.
Just the stage. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, will it be different colors? Like, because in this arena they had like all the different red, white, and blues up there. So, like, will it be like the orange or the electricity? I just want to see if there's any noticeable differences of Rampage. But you know what? They were really hyping Rampage up. Like, everyone was getting excited for Rampage. Like all the matches they had coming that way, they were really hyping it up.
And speaking of Rampage, this Friday we got Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley versus Top Flight, Darius, and Dante Martin. We'll hear from House of Black. Patrol Picasso will be in action. And the AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker take on the Renegade twins, Charlotte and Robin. And then after Rampage is Battle of the Belts, which the Acclaim defends the AEW Tag Team titles against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal in a no-holds-barred match. Jay Cargill defends the TBS title against Sky Blue, and Orange Cassidy defends the AEW All Atlantic Championship against Kid Sabian. And then next week at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, we got match 7 of the final match of the Best of 7 series between Death Triangle and the Elite in the ladder match for the AEW Trios titles. Saraya versus Saraya and Tony Storm take on AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker DMD. Bryan Danielson against Kateshka. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Hook, aka Jungle Hook, against Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. And Jon Moxley versus Heyman Adam Page.
That sounds like a hell of a lineup.
Yeah. And then the main event, Darby Allin in his hometown of Seattle, which he got a good package intro before he came out, versus the king of television, Samoa Joe, for the AEW TNT Championship. Now, I like this. I like the that the TNT Championship is getting more attention than it did last year. Like it don't have to be in the main event all the time, but at least it's getting some recognition that is definitely the workhorse title of AEW. Yeah. Like, this was a fantastic main event, even though I wish it could have been a lot more. I wish it had a lot more time, especially with this is being in Darby Allin's hometown. But in the end, the crowd was absolutely got out their feet when Darby Allin defeated Samoa Joe for the AEW the TNT Championship, and people was like, "Oh, Darby Allin's gonna lose." I'm like, bruh, this is not WWE. This is not what Vince did with their superstars. Every time their superstars come to their hometown and they got to lose. I'm like, no, this is not WWE. Like, anytime that AEW come to a certain wrestler's hometown, you best believe that they're gonna win. Now,
yep,
yeah. Now, does this hurt Samoa Joe? No, because he's still the ROH or World Television Champion. So, but if you want to ask the question of how long Darby Allin's second TNT Championship reign is going to be, I don't know. We still don't know yet. Even though Darby Allin is still recognized as the longest reigning TNT champion of all time, that he still holds that record. So yeah, but yeah, Darby Allin picked up the win. He is the new AEW TNT champion. It took a hit for Samoa Joe at when the turnbuckle padding was exposed, and not one but 2 coffin drops to pick up the victory. And then after the match, Sting and his protege Darby Allin hugged in the ring, and then what a special moment afterwards. As the confetti was raining down in the ring, like this was great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a big moment. First off, Darby took so many bad bumps. Oh, I felt bad for him. But there was a whole story, and we all know TK love a hometown pop. He lives for a hometown pop. So this was a perfect hometown pop. Big moment. Everyone felt good. Sting coming out. Great moment when Samoa Joe had Darby in a chokehold and Darby started beating on his chest like a mini Sting for a second, and came out and did it. So I mean, he really had a great moment, and you can see he was emotional from the moment he came out. Almost cried before he got in. But this is the one of the moments I noticed how much more time they're giving their wrestlers to do their entrance and how much more time they're letting them go from ring post to ring post. They're not rushing to just get the match started. They're allowing those moments to breathe more, and it really worked out in this case. So I think it was a great moment. It's one of those great way to start the year, you know. And now Wardlow can come after Joe's ROH belt if he wanted, or however they want to play it. But yeah, great way to start the year. Great episode of Dynamite. I mean, keep it up. If this is the new era, I am down for it because this felt very professional. This felt like it was just a new era, like a new vibe, and it was something that was done with expertise. It felt like a real TV show, a real wrestling program. And I wouldn't be surprised if whoever produced it used to work for WWE because I see a lot of the little touches that WWE does. But it was done in an AEW way. It was nothing that was too ham-fisted, too corny. The way also I noticed that they showed a shot of Seattle, showed the town, and showed the arena. That's something that they usually don't do that WWE does do. So all those little touches does make it feel like a more professional program.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said before, coming in 2023, we are definitely going to get some competition between AEW and WWE, especially with the Royal Rumble coming up this month. And this is the first Royal Rumble under the Triple H regime. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And like I said, we got Revolution, which is going to be the first pay-per-view for AEW in March, not too far from WrestleMania, which is the first week in April. So from now in January to the first week of April, man, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun ride. I'm pumped up for AEW all over again. Last night was a perfect example how you can. I mean, this was pretty much if TK had to produce an episode of SmackDown. That's what it felt like last night. Because the professionalism has just risen. Camera angles, camera shots, the way they went into the commentator booth. They got a new professional looking commentator booth with like screens on the front now. First, it was always just a little dinky table, and now they have a proper commentator's booth. So, yeah, man, I am down for all the changes. Let's keep them going.
Yeah. So let's see how Rampage does this Friday because
Yep.
it's gonna be very interesting because I know we're gonna get some couple of special episodes with the St. Patrick's Day Slam in at no wait, that's after Rampage. So I don't know if they're gonna do any special episodes from now to Revolution. We'll see how that goes. Depends on which city they're gonna be in because I know they're gonna make a lot of a couple of debuts in certain cities like in Paso, Texas, and like all the other stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting how the build up for Revolution is gonna be. Now we already got the what the main event is gonna be with MJF versus Brian Danielson in a 1 hour Iron Man match for the world title. So let's just see what the rest of the match card is gonna be.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got 2 live hours on Friday of AEW wrestling, so I'm excited to see what they do next. Let's keep that momentum going. That was some great television. I can't wait to see how like the House of Black look in this new presentation and this new package of AEW. It's still AEW, but boy, does it have on some new clothes. So yeah, I'm excited, man. They're looking good. They got some money.
And speaking of when you said 2 hours, so I was want y'all to know, Battle of the Belts, it's gonna be live. It is not pre-taped. This is the first time that Battle of the Belt is gonna be live. So to keep y'all notice. Keep y'all know.
That's gonna be live is the best way to go.
Yep. But other than that, anything else you want to plug in before we wrap up?
Oh man, I'm getting ready to go to Jamaica to shoot something. Empathy is coming together. We're still working on that, but I'm getting close to the finish line. I'm watching the recent cut of it, and it feels good. It's starting to really come out. So I'm excited to share empathy with everybody and that whole marketing campaign when we hit there. We're gonna have our website up soon and all that fun stuff. So yeah, empathy from Yard. Those are the two projects I'm working on now. And I'm also going to get my personal YouTube page going up where I talk about weight loss in professional wrestling. So I'll be announcing that real soon and getting some episodes loaded up there.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff, man. Yeah, that is good to hear. And like I said before, this is the first episode of the 2023 for the Dynamite review show, and also the first episode for our regular Tricology News Talk will be premiering this week as well. So be on the lookout for that. But other than that, he is Leland, and I'm Trico, and we're signing off, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.